Welcome to Wednesday, and this is Private Practice. I'm Jo Muirhead, and we made it to 4:30. Yay, on a Wednesday afternoon. Goodness me, I'm in my Hawaiian style outfit today because the weather is going to continue to be hot. So if you're wondering what the weather's doing here today, because I seem to talk about that a lot, it's hot. Just a lot of the hot. Hello, Amber Hawley. Lovely to see you here today. We're apparently going to have some storms. Yesterday we had hail. That was all very exciting. Today it's just the humidity is just hot. Okay, that's the weather report done. I've actually got the fan so close to my computer, I'm surprised it's not actually touching it, making a very funny sound. Kelsey, hello, lovely to see you again. Were your ears burning? I was just talking to Jill and your name came up. In all the good ways, of course. Okay, so today it's my emotions been a bit heavy today after yesterday's news. I came home after seeing a client and came into my office and felt pretty buoyed by going and seeing my client because he's a really cool kid. Actually, he's a young man who's got great potential. And then I went into the house to make myself some food because looking after myself is important. And then I walked into my son's bedroom. And then the tears came. So for those of you who have been wondering how I've been coping with the empty nesting, today, not a good day. So what I was actually able to understand, however, is this is grief. So after years of not understanding what grief felt like, I've had plenty of darn practice now. So I can work this out. And I had a gorgeous lady in my life this morning who was helping us out in the house, and she helped me understand what it was like for her when her kids left home. And she said, you're going to feel like you've lost a part of yourself. It's going to last for about a month, and then you'll move on and you'll start to see it for what it is. And I went, oh, I'm grieving. I'm grieving my little boy. I'm grieving the change to my motherhood, to me being a mum. So there you go. Vulnerable. Thank you so much to Jill Johnson-Young. I am so incredibly grateful that I have been able to work with her on her Your Path Through Grief program. So I got to read all of that content before that program was actually delivered to the world. And I learned so much. And I recommend that to anybody who wants to listen to me recommend anything to do with death, dying, and grieving. So then it's come to my attention today again on the need for us to examine the leaky holes in our financial bucket that is our business. And, you know, it takes me by surprise when I notice leaky holes, and some of these leaky holes are quite noticeable. So when bills aren't getting paid, and the longer we sit waiting for insurance companies to reimburse us or anybody to pay us for anything, we can see those quite gaping holes. We've learned to look for those holes. We've got some lazy taxes, which are things that you're probably paying for that you don't use or you haven't bothered to use or you can't be bothered how to learn to use, which would be, I'm guilty of that. So there's a leaky hole over there. But there's also the leaky holes of not working out what we need to know and what we need to learn to help us move to the next phase in our capacity building to be able to be a more competent or bigger or different leader in our business. So I have so many people coming to me going, I want to add more clinicians, or I want to lose clinicians, or I want to add products and services, I want to add new income streams, and everybody's got this whole, I want it to be done tomorrow. And I have to keep reminding everybody that the knowledge and skills that got you here, they may not necessarily be the knowledge and skills that you need to get you there. So if you've never managed people before and you want to build a multi-clinician therapy practice or clinical practice at all, you need to learn how to manage people, and management and leadership are not the same thing. So we have a leaky bucket when we've got revolving doors of staff. We have a leaking bucket when we've got absenteeism or presenteeism. We have a leaky bucket when we've got infighting and gossiping and unhelpful things being said about people in the office that detract us from doing the work. Hard message today, but I think we need to understand it. We all want to go and find, the free, cheap, and easy thing that allows us to make $1 million in 20 seconds, tongue firmly in cheek. when the wisdom and the responsibility that we have is to make sure that we're being wise with the resources we've already brought into our business. So if you've got technology you don't know how to use, my biggest problem, then we have a responsibility to go and learn how to use it and make sure we're using and delivering with that effectively. I can assure you that technology is a sinkhole. It's not just a leaky hole. Feels like a sinkhole in my business because we're not using it effectively, and I can't be bothered learning how to use it. And I've created my business that we do everything on the run, so nobody's had the time to learn how to use it. We've got all these band-aids piled over it. So I'm wondering if I'm alone in this. I'm wondering if I am the only person who has ever experienced this. Thinking not. Thinking that this, I know I'm not, because I have clinicians coming to me or a health business owners coming to me going, I want to speak on stage. And it's like, okay, well, we need to do some speakership training. And they're like, why? I could just stand up and speak. No, you can't. That's boring. And you're likely to not ever be asked back again. Or I want to write a book. Excellent. We need to learn how to write a book. Well, I just want to use my blogs and I just want to put all my blogs as chapters of a book. Please don't. You can write blogs, but it's not the same as writing a book. So there's some learning that we've got to do. We've got to invest in learning. And that's really hard to work out what it is that you need to know. So I've had to learn a lot about managing because I'm very good at it, but it's not the same as leadership. So leadership is about casting the vision. Management is about process, people, the things and the stuff. I actually don't enjoy management, but I enjoy the leadership. But without the management, the leadership is useless. So I've had to learn how to grow into that. But that also meant I had to learn about social and emotional intelligence, because despite the fact that I'm an expert in human behavior, I don't quite get all the nuances of how to interact with all the people and what people need from me. I just expect to bark orders and people obey because, you know, I should have been a dictator in a former life. I hope you are laughing. Please understand I am taking the mickey out of myself here. So I want to ask this question of you today. Where do you think the leaky holes are in your business? Is it you? Because I can assure you that there are times in this business that's mine where it's me. My leadership, my management, my inability to execute, my unwillingness to learn and to resource myself properly have caused us to leak money. And that's actually not fair. It's not fair on me because I work friggin' hard, and it's not fair on the people around me who support me. So I'm putting myself right out there today and go, there are times where I have to pull myself back and go, what is it that I need to learn? So yesterday, that was a really great opportunity for me because Deb Eglin, she's great at helping me think through a process. I'm not a systems thinker. Apparently, if you're a social worker, you think in terms of family systems all the time. Who knew? I am not a systems thinker. I am all about the individual. So I see people in silos. I'm not very good at seeing them how they relate to everything else. But I am learning that you can't operate a business like that. You cannot operate your business thinking that you've got your clinical practice up here and your business practice down here and never the twain shall meet. It's an interaction of all these things in us all of the time. And we've got to learn to grow into what it is, the skills and knowledge that we need to be able to take us where we want to go. So for some of us, it's about growth. For a lot of us, it's about revenue. So I've talked about this a lot. If I haven't got $1 million to manage, is it because I haven't learned how to manage 100 grand? Okay, so lots of different subject matter here today. But the truth of what I'm trying to get to is there will be times when you are hitting your head against your ceiling. John Maxwell writes on this a lot. So if you ever want to learn about it, because the 7 laws of leadership, I think, but he talks about a ceiling. We all bump our head on the ceiling because we've never done it before. We've got new learning. But if we don't know what it is we need to learn, then all we're going to do is keep going around in the circle and we can't grow because there's no more capacity for us to grow into. So we've got to create that capacity by working out what it is. So I know I had to grow in my capacity for thinking about my numbers in my business. Now they're my friends. I've had to address my fears and concerns I had about managing people because I don't have a very nice story there. I had to learn to trust myself. I've had to learn how to ask for help. I've had to learn where to even go and ask for help. Last year, one of the best things I did was I spent time with a CFO and learned how to think about my business from a CFO point of view. What are the questions a CFO asks? Because they're very different to an accountant. What do they ask? Because they're all about projections in the future. It's very, very cool. So I challenge you today, where are the leaky holes for you in your business? Because I reckon we could do some development stuff around that, around our leadership, our management, our skills. Off we go. So we made it through Wednesday. We made it through a bit of a tough love episode today. I'm looking forward to talking to you again tomorrow. Go be your awesome self.